come to college anymore?
I'm not sure, but maybe at the end she can.
Just for the exam.
I also don't know what's called.
Yeah, okay, I understand. Where is Ian? If Ian is here, we can start already. Why Finland and Denmark are the happiest countries in the world? I think, one day when you reach my age, I think happiness, you value happiness. Now I think you value money more. Alright? That's not wrong. You value money more, success more, luxury more. But you reach my age, then you say, hey, happiness is the most important. Alright? So try to find happiness in the small things we do. Is that okay? Some people can spend so much of money on a luxury car. Alright? So much of money, maybe they have the money, but they're not happy driving it. I find that sad. Why don't you drive a bicycle but you're happy? Can you see the difference now? Is that okay? So whatever you do, you must learn to be happy. Alright? Life is never going to be easy. But how are you inside doing whatever you're doing? That's important. Is that okay now? Alright, so let's see why Finland and Denmark are the happiest countries in the world. Finland and Denmark have consistently topped the United Nations' most prestigious index, the World Happiness Report. Okay? In 2019, Finland topped the list. We met with local Finns and Danes from people from Denmark to find out what makes their homes the happiest countries in the world. So let's watch this video and see what we can understand from this.
What makes me happy is...
I think I was definitely born happy. And happiness. I'm getting a bit emotional bit. I feel very happy.
Very happy. I'm happier now than when I lived in New York, and I got paid probably twice as much in New York as I do here.
Our happiness is kind of like quiet happiness, kind of a stillness. What does it take to be happy? The Nordic countries seem to have it all figured out. Finland and Denmark have consistently topped the United Nations' most prestigious index, the World Happiness Score, in all 6 areas of life satisfaction. How have they cracked the formula? And are the people there really the happiest?
The United Nations just named the happiest place on Earth. It is not Disney World. It's Finland.
In 2019, the World Happiness Report named Finland the happiest country in the world for the 2nd year in a row. Denmark came in 2nd place after claiming the top slot in 2013 and 2016. Year after year, Nordic countries like Norway, Iceland, and Sweden round out the top of the list. Enter Jeffrey Sachs, a professor at Columbia and co-editor of the World Happiness Report.
What do those countries have? They have a high level of prosperity, to be sure, but they're not the richest countries in the world by any means. The idea is a good balance of life. You don't have to get super rich to be happy, they believe. In fact, if someone's super rich, they look, what's wrong with that person? So they're not societies that are aiming for all of the effort and time to becoming gazillionaires. They're looking for a good balance of life. and the results are extremely positive.
The annual happiness ranking began in 2012, but we can trace measuring happiness back to 1971.
It came in the inspiration of the country of Bhutan, a country in the Himalayas that many people know for its innovation of attempting to measure gross national happiness.
Globally, a standard for measuring success and productivity is gross national product.
Bhutan had the bright idea of trying to measure happiness.
Measuring happiness is a fairly complicated business. First of all, we need to understand what happiness means.
It means the satisfaction with the way one's life is going. It's not primarily a measure of whether one laughed or smiled yesterday, but how one feels about the course of one's life.
Meet Mike Viking, happiness researcher and CEO of the Happiness Research Institute in Denmark.
There's a lot of factors that impact happiness, everything from biology to income levels to the city they live in. But I think that the best predictor we see in the data of whether people are happy or not is whether they're satisfied or happy with their relationships. So do we have somebody we can rely on in times of need? Do we have somebody we can share our hopes and worries with?
These 6 categories help account for the differences in life satisfaction around the world. GDP per capita, healthy life expectancy, freedom to make life choices, social support, generosity, and absence of corruption.
On average, richer countries are happier. On average, richer people are happier. But once we get to a certain level of income, additional $100 a month is not going to impact how people feel about their lives. So with money, like with everything else, we see diminishing marginal return.
I don't know why I'm bringing up this quote because it's extremely corny, but there is a Kanye West song in which he says that having money is not everything, not having it is. And I do think that's true in the sense that when you don't have it, it's all you worry about. And when you do have money, you can actually worry about other stuff. Happiness also seems like this elusive thing. We have 2 words for happiness in Danish. So we have lykke, which is the elusive thing, the thing you experience once every blue moon. And then we have to be glad, like the word glad, which is different because it's more down to earth. And you can be glad despite the fact that it's not anything special. It's no special day. Lykke seems like this elusive thing that you can't quite chase. To be glad is more like our mindset. So I feel more like I choose to be glad at times, rather than sort of trying to chase happiness, because that seems like it's never going to happen that way.
Maria lives in Helsinki with her husband Duke and her 2-year-old son Luca.
Yes, there it is.
Finland is the best place to have kids. When you go give birth, it's almost free. We stayed in the hospital for 3 full days as a family. We had our own family room and we got like meals and support and help and everything, and the bill was about 300 euros in the end. It's basically like living in a hotel.
In Finland, new mothers receive a free baby box jam-packed with 63 items to help with the baby's first year.
You don't have to buy anything for the first 2-3 months, of course diapers and stuff like that, but basically. And also you can actually put your baby to sleep in that box. Our baby actually, Luca, slept in the box for the first month.
Finland, along with the other Nordic countries, offers generous parental leave. Anu Partinen, author of The Nordic Theory of Everything, spent 10 years as a journalist in the US before returning to her home country, Finland. She's also a mother.
In Finland, you get 10 months of paid parental leave, out of which about 4 months is set aside for the mother, and you start it before the baby is born, and then father can keep 9 weeks.
Typically, both parents stay home for the first 3 weeks. They share the rest of the time until the baby is 9 months old. A parent can even stay home until the child is 3 years old and keep his or her job. However, the stipend is much smaller.
Another determinant of well-being is one's sense of personal freedom to make important life choices. Can you shape your life the way you want?
Christina was unhappy at her job in advertising and took an 8-month break.
Social security is also something I think is very important. What I did didn't make me happy, and it didn't let me have that work-life balance that we cherish so much here. And so we have a system that made it possible for me to quit my job and have some thinking time and figure out, what's my next step in life.
Christina received about $2,000 a month from the Danish government while she was unemployed. She is now in school to become a painter. Her tuition is covered, and she receives an educational stipend of about $1,000 a month. Two of the biggest perks of life in Denmark and Finland are free education and free healthcare.
Income taxes are not at all as high in the Nordic countries that Americans tend to think. However, overall, it is completely true that the Nordic countries collect more taxes in general than the United States does.
In Finland and the Nordic countries, there are higher taxes on consumption, like eating in restaurants and buying jeans.
But the thing that I think a lot of Americans forget is that the Nordic people are happy to pay those taxes because they get services in return. Daycare, great public education, it includes your college, tuition free, it includes healthcare. All of those are included in your taxes.
When the news hit that Finland is the happiest country in the world, I think most people kind of reacted to it like, what are they talking about? We don't think of ourselves as very happy because it's dark and gloomy in the winter and whatever.
It's easier for Finns and Danes to shape their lives because the government supports so many of their basic needs.
The American dream is probably more alive in Denmark. The conception of freedom is probably also a little bit different. It seems like in the US, the feeling is you have to be protected from the government, you have to have freedom from the government. I think in Denmark, the sense is that the government protects you.
People trust other people. You leave a bag in a restaurant in Finland, you're pretty sure you're going to make it back and the money is still there.
People even leave babies parked in strollers outside coffee shops while they run errands.
And I think partly the Nordic society cultivates that trust simply by providing basic services for everyone, so there's much less poverty, much less feeling of injustice, inequality, crime. People get the education they need, they can have a